Welcome to the Daily Tanya. Today is Sunday, the 5th day of Elul. And once again, reminder, we say the 3 extra chapters in Psalm. Today is 13, 14, and 15. Let's begin with Tzedakah. Yadayla Tzedakah, Shemekareves Esakeula. Tzedakah brings Mashiach closer. And today we start a new chapter, chapter 12 in Tanya. And this chapter, again, talks about the concept of tzedakah. But as we have learned in the last few chapters in Tanya, how the Alter Rebbe takes every time when he explains the idea of tzedakah, and he gives us a deeper understanding, which leads to an appreciation of serving God with the very essence of our soul. And this letter is no different. Alter Rebbe talks about explaining a verse in Isaiah that it says that there will be the actions of tzedakah will lead to peace, and the work of tzedakah, the service of tzedakah, will lead to tranquility and security. We all need to be in peace, in tranquility, in security. Especially these days, we can appreciate how much we need it. Seems like it's all the same. And Alter Rebbe will explain that it's not the same. There is two things. There is the actions of tzedakah, and that leads to peace. And there is the service or the work of tzedakah that leads to tranquility. And this we will learn, as the Alter Rebbe will explain also, how this is connected with our service of Hashem. Let's begin. So again, we're not going to give all the answers today, just the beginning of the letter. Says the Alter Rebbe, letter 12. V'hoya ma'aseh tzedakah shalom v'avodas tzedakah hashkeit v'vetach ad olam. And the reward for the act of tzedakah will be peace, and the reward for the service of tzedakah will be quietness and surety forever. That's how he translates hashkeit v'vetach, quietness and surety, like security also, bitachon. In any case, so some commentaries explain this verse that it's all the same, just, it's being like, sounds like poetic, using different words for the same thing. The Targum Yonatan, the translation in Aramaic of the sage Yonatan ben Uziel, he says that it's two separate things. There is the action of tzedakah and the service of tzedakah. And here the Alter Rebbe focuses on this interpretation, explaining what that means. What is the difference? So we need to understand the difference between the act and the service of tzedakah, and the difference between the reward of peace and quietness and surety. So this will be understood based on what our sages say. Al pi ma she'omru Chazal al pasuk oiseh shalom b'mreimav. It'll be understood based on but what our sages' blessed memory said, and the verse in Job, he makes peace in his high places. I'm sure you're familiar with that verse. Oseh shalom b'mromav sounds familiar. We say it every day. Everybody knows the song. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. The one who makes peace up in the high places will make peace upon us. So, what does it mean? What is the verse talking about? Making peace in the high places. In the higher heavens, is there also argument and dispute that Hashem needs to make peace there? And the Alter Rebbe says, indeed, yes. In the higher worlds, you have the angels, and each angel has their own mission, and they don't mix with each other. כי מיכאל שר של מים וגבריאל שר של אש ואין מכבים זה את זה. The angel Michael is the prince of water, and Gabriel is the prince of fire, yet they do not extinguish one another. So what does that mean? The angel Michael is not made of water, obviously, and Gabriel is not made out of fire. We're talking about what this represents. Michael represents the element of water. Gabriel represents the element of fire. And those are the two attributes that are represented by the fire and water, which is the water and fire, which is the chesed and gevura. Attributes of chesed, the kindness, is represented by the water. And just like water is something that flows down from the higher places, goes to the lowest places, representing the concept of giving. Higher represents the one is standing in a higher place, and giving, flowing, the flow, the influence to the low places, that is the attribute of chesed, the giving. The fire is the attribute of restriction. It's not about not giving, but it's about giving with restriction to those who deserve. Just like the fire goes up and limits, it's more severities, represents the concept of severities. So those are the two angels, Michael and Gabriel. Kaloimer. This means to say, not that the substance, not that Michael's substance derives from the spiritual element of water, and Gabriel's substance derives from the spiritual element of fire, but what that means is Shemichael Sar Shel Chesed. Michael is the prince of Chesed, kindness, and Nikra b'Shem Mayim Hayerdim M'Makim Gavoya L'Makim Namach, which is called water because it descends from a high place to a low place. In spiritual terms, this descent means the bestowal and diffusion of the divine life force from the higher to the lower worlds. This is represented by the angel Michael. Fire, whose nature is to soar aloft, represents spiritually the thrust of gevura, which is severity, and the upwards withdrawal of the flow of life force, just like the fire goes up. And the idea is in order not to bestow it except by way of an intense and immense contraction. Now these attributes are in conflict. Chesed representing unlimited effusion, and Gevura representing limitation and contraction. But when are they in conflict? Only when they're in state of attributes. What does that mean? But only when they are in their pristine state as attributes, inasmuch as the attributes are inherently limited, and indeed, the very word midah means measure. Midah means attribute and also means measure. And each of them is confined to its innate characteristic. Chesed is confined to expansiveness, and Gevura to withdrawal. So, what are we saying here? That the angels that God has, they're all about bringing the flow into this world. We get from them, but the angels are determined by their mission. For example, when God sent the angels to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, and at the same time to save Lot, Avram's nephew, and his family. So God sent two separate angels. One to destroy the Sodom and Gomorrah, and the other one to save Lot and his family. Why did he send two separate angels? Why couldn't one angel do the job? After all, they're angels. They have superpowers. Humans can multitask. Why can't angels? Okay, maybe man cannot multitask, but women, of course, can multitask. In any case, all jokes aside, that the idea of an angel doing a mission, an angel is not like human, it is a complex being that God created with all different abilities. An angel is the creation of God that fulfills one mission. This is why the angel that was created to destroy could not be the same angel that saves. It's different missions. Now sometimes these missions come in conflict. And Hashem makes peace between them sometimes. What does it mean? For example, the story in the Torah in the 10 plagues, one of the plagues was the plague of the hail. God brought upon the hail on the Egyptians. So the Torah says that the hail was not just simple hail. It wasn't just frozen like we know the hail, that bowls of frozen bowls. There was eish mislakachas b'soich habara. There was fire that was burning within the hail. So there was a combination of the fire and the water together. Those two things are opposites. They extinguish one another. They nullify one another. And yet Hashem made peace between the angels of the fire and the angels of the water, that they should come together and punish the Egyptians in that way. How did he make the peace? What is the idea of making peace between the angels? That we will learn Bezrat Hashem tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. All the best.